It is art, it's sculpture, it's painting, it's prosthetics, it's blood.
I thought, I don't think there's any more story in the Halloween movies. Why don't we veer off and do something brand new? Shows you how wrong I can be.
Everybody wanted more of the same. And what do you get? You get this kind of like company that's creating Halloween masks that melt children's heads off. I mean, it's incredibly dark, man.
Oh my God, that song.
4 days till Halloween. Turn that down.
3 more days till Halloween, silver shamrock. Boy, did we hate it.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Hello Gallatin, I'm Dr. Udru, and tonight you'll be treated to Halloween 3, so get ready, because here comes the Season of the Witch. With their Michael Myers storyline literally going up in flames at the end of Halloween 2,
Oh, the birdie!
filmmakers John Carpenter and Deborah Hill decided further sequels would not feature the shape. Instead, the pair set out to turn Halloween into an anthology series, inspired by the likes of The Twilight Zone and Night Gallery. Thus, Halloween 3 would be based on Hill's idea of melding witchcraft with the computer age. For the screenplay, Carpenter looked to British screenwriter Nigel Neal, whose Quatermass series he was a fan of. However, Neal's script was poorly received by both Carpenter and distributor Dino De Laurentiis, prompting a rewrite by Carpenter himself. On top of this, further revisions were made by director Tommy Lee Wallace. Unfortunately, Neal disliked the alterations to his script and removed his name from the project, leaving Wallace as the sole credited writer. Ultimately, Halloween 3 took inspiration from 1956's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, with both taking place in the fictional California town of Santa Mira. In fact, one shot in the film uses the same location as the pot unloading scene in Body Snatchers. The Stepford Wives has also been acknowledged by Wallace as an influence, likely on Ellie's robotic replacement, though don't bother asking him to elaborate on that.
Is she a robot the whole movie, or do they turn her into one at the end?
I don't know.
Many cast and crew members from earlier Carpenter projects returned for Halloween 3, including famed cinematographer Dean Cundy. Director Tommy Lee Wallace had worked as a production designer and editor on Halloween and The Fog, while leading man Tom Atkins had previously appeared in both The Fog and Escape from New York. Atkins' then-wife, Garn Stevens, played the role of Marge Gutman, while Wallace's then-wife, Nancy Loomis, played Chalice's ex-wife, and is likely more familiar to fans from her roles in Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, and The Fog. Cochrane's lead android is played by, and I'm not making this up, Dick Warlock. Warlock was the stunt double for Kurt Russell in Escape from New York, and played the role of the Shape in Halloween 2. Even Jamie Lee Curtis has vocal cameos as a telephone operator and a curfew announcer.
It's 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. Curfew.
Originally, all of Cochrane's goons were meant to be ginger, perhaps because they're soulless robots, but more likely to go along with the Irish theming. When it became too difficult to cast, the idea was scrapped. And by coincidence, Chalice's son was played by the real-life son of Jason Miller, most recognizable as Father Karras from The Exorcist. Halloween 3 was mainly filmed in Lolita, California. The exterior of the Silver Shamrock factory was actually a milk bottling plant called Familiar Foods, which might have been the inspiration for this weird moment. Filming of the interiors took place at Dawn Post Studios. For its iconic trio of masks, Halloween 3 made use of 2 previously created Dawn Post masks, with a third pumpkin mask collaboratively designed just for the movie. By coincidence, the film's effects were created by former Post employee Tom Burman. For Buddy's death scene, a gelatin pumpkin mask was melted using heat guns. As a final touch, crickets, beetles, and snakes were fed out the mouth of a rubber urethane dummy. Another urethane head was made for Harry's death, this time with a perforated fiberglass skull on which Cochrane's goons could practice their rhinoplasty. One of Burman's dummies was actually a recycled prop from One Dark Night, which Burman worked on that same year. The orange liquid inside Cochrane's robots was orange juice, though I much prefer the milk-based robots from the Alien series. To illuminate the Stonehenge monolith, the giant prop was coated in reflective Scotchlite paint, and the shot of the snake biting Mr. Kupfer was filmed in reverse by having the snake pulled off his leg. During post-production, additional scenes involving Chalice's colleague, Teddy, were shot in order to expand the scope of the movie outside of Santa Mira. The digitally animated opening credits to Halloween 3 were created by visual effects artist John Wash using a Chromem Co. Z2D microcomputer. The jack-o'-lantern imagery of the credits is a deliberate nod to the opening credits of the first two Halloweens. Furthermore, the tagline for the film,
"The night no one comes home,"
is a direct reference to those of the previous two films.
"The night he came home." More of "The night he came home."
Halloween 3 also shares its subtitle with a 1966 song by Donovan. And speaking of music, the synth-tastic score for Halloween 3 was created by John Carpenter and frequent collaborator Alan Howarth. The Silver Shamrock jingle, however, was written by Tommy Lee Wallace himself to the tune of the copyright-safe London Bridge is Falling Down and will now never leave my head.
Stop it, please, for God's sake, please stop it.
While his vocal prowess is easily recognizable in the commercial's voiceover,
All those lucky kids with silver shamrock masks, hurry home!
Wallace also provided his singing voice, albeit sped up.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
Now sit back, relax, and don't forget your mask, and welcome to the night no one comes home.